guys, how are you? My name is Bridal. If you are new to this channel, again, my name is Bridal. Today I'm just going to be doing a get ready with me along with a little bit of a story time going on. So if you don't know and you are new to who I am as a person, I am a freelance makeup artist. I work primarily out of like the South Jersey, Delaware, New York kind of area, Philadelphia, whatever. So I do a lot of bridal parties. The last year has been really crazy with bridal parties, and whenever I think of bad client stories, this is the very first client and bridal party that comes to mind. So I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory about what kind of happened. Oh, maybe I should start doing my makeup. I'm like, I'm going to do a get ready with me, and I'm sitting here talking. I'm taking the Urban Decay Optical Illusion Complexion Primer. I just have really large pores, so this just tends to really work for me. So it is probably sometime in the fall of last year, so this is still kind of a recent story. Fall time typically is like a really busy like wedding season, like basically kind of from, I want to say September to basically kind of like November is like, it's like booming bridal season. Everyone gets married in the fall. I don't blame them. It's normally beautiful weather. Let me pin back my bangs because I don't feel like dealing with this later. So I had just worked a wedding. I want to say it was sometime either in October or November. I maybe worked on like a Friday or I worked on a Saturday, but basically I came home the next day. I had all of my stuff. Everything was still packed in my kit. I travel with a train case, and that's where I put all of my products in. The only thing that was like really dirty from my kit was basically the brushes, because I had worked a wedding before and it was a really large, you know, bridal party. So at the time I was using Beauty Blender, so everything was just dirty and gross and couldn't be used again. So I want to say I got home around like 8:30. Okay, I look disgusting. I sleep at my boyfriend's house, so I came home just looking like a hot mess after the wedding that I had worked the day before. I'll be taking a little bit of like Makeup Forever foundation. This is their foundation stick. You can see that I'm like at the very end of it, but it's my all-time favorite foundation. I came home that morning and I'm exhausted, and I actually didn't have any clients that day, so I'm thinking in my head like, oh cool, like I'm getting a day off today, which is, you know, normally like abnormal for me, but I was like welcoming it. Nothing wrong with that. I'm all about having a day off. 9 o'clock rolls around and I get a phone call from Chicago, and I'm like, okay, you know, normally I ignore these calls because they're normally not a real person, but I answered it on a whim, and it was a real person, actually. It's someone that I'm still kind of friendly with today after all this happened. She's a makeup artist out of state, and she was supposed to be traveling in for a wedding. And so she tells me that something happened with her flight. I don't know if there was a delay or like something had happened, but she basically just wasn't going to be able to make it. So, you know, she's giving me the details about it, and she's like, you know, it's up near Newark, which is about like an hour and a half from me. And she was basically just saying that she was hoping to have someone else fill in the spot for her. So this is coming from someone that like I would be appalled at missing a bridal party and having to last minute find someone. Mind you, again, she called me at 9 o'clock in the morning, and she was supposed to be at the venue getting everyone ready at 10 a.m. and I live an hour and a half away. So my initial response is like, no, like, I'm sorry, like, I'm not gonna be able to do that. So I hang up. And then my mom is right there, and she listened on the conversation, and she was like, who was that? So I told her, and she was like, well, you're not doing anything else today, like, why don't you go make money? So I'm like, you right, Mom, like, you right. So I end up texting her, and she's like, just ask her, like, you know, pricing and stuff. So she kind of goes through pricing with me, and I'm like, well, should I charge her more because this is like a day of thing? And my mom was like, yeah, absolutely. So I ended up charging like a fee for being like late, and you know, I obviously like charged for travel, and like in 15 minutes not only did I get myself ready, but me, my mom, and my sisters cleaned all of my brushes and my beauty blenders. Like in that instant, in 15 minutes I was out the door, like on my way there. So I'm like speeding up to New York, like trying to get to this wedding. I'm freaking out, like I'm like, oh my god, like. And just to let you know, the makeup artist that I had spoke to made it clear to me that she was going to still be coming. She was going to be getting on a later flight, and she was going to be meeting me at the venue. The bridal party was like 10 people. 10 people by yourself to be ready by like 4 or 5 o'clock whenever they were supposed to be ready for is, like, to me, not real. That's not how that works. I normally take about 45 minutes, even for like bridesmaids. And like the bride is normally like an hour and 15, maybe an hour and 20, like if I'm feeling like really spicy. I'm taking my flat top brush. I keep forgetting that I'm supposed to be doing my makeup right now. I thought women were supposed to be able to multitask. I finally get to the venue, and I'm supposed to be meeting at the bridal suite. So just to let you know, this is a Middle Eastern bridal party. If you do not know kind of like what their culture is like wedding wise, they are like very over the top. Like, they are very dramatic. They like the cut creases, the glitter, all that fun stuff. So I brought everything with me because I was like, what is this going to be like? And this makeup artist didn't even tell me that it was going to be like that, but I went and looked at the makeup artist page and I was like, oh my gosh, she kind of specializes in Middle Eastern, Egyptian, Indian weddings, and I'm like, this is definitely going to be one of those weddings, and I'm not prepared. I've never worked a Middle Eastern, Indian, whatever type of wedding before. So again, like, I was not feeling the top of my game this morning. So I get there at like 10:30. Okay, I don't know how I made it there so fast, but I got there at 10:30. Obviously I was speeding, and I see, you know, I go to the front and I'm talking to the concierge, and I give the last name and the first name, and they're like, oh, the bridal suite isn't ready yet, but let me get you the bride. So I wait 15 minutes in the lobby, no word from the bride, and I'm like, I'm getting nervous right now. Texting my mom, telling her that I'm nervous, and she's like, just wait, she's probably just busy. So again, like, we were supposed to start at 10 o'clock. So I got there at 10:30, like probably exactly at 10:30, like 10:31, 10:32, whatever. And I'm like, we need to start like right now. Again, I still have the mindset that this other makeup artist is coming and is going to come and help me with this bridal party, so I'm not by myself. So 15 minutes had went by, and finally she's like, oh, well, she's prepping the, like, I guess the hall where they were getting ready at. So she's like, if you want to go over there, the concierge is like, if you want to go over there and just kind of like wait and talk to her, like, you absolutely can. So I'm like, okay. So I walk over there and I peek my head in, and I call out the name because I see people in there and I don't know this woman, so I'm just kind of like, hello. And she's like, hi, and she comes out. She's like, I need a couple minutes, like, I'm just trying to do some last minute stuff for the hall and help my family out. I'm really sorry. And we kind of like briefly talk about the situation, and she's really stressed, but I'm like, I'm here now, so, you know, don't stress. And she doesn't know me. She doesn't really know my work. Like, I don't blame her for being nervous. Shit, I would be nervous too. So about 15 more minutes go by, and now it's almost 11 o'clock, and I'm like, oh, maybe it's a little bit past 11, and I'm like, oh my god, like, I'm not gonna have any time to even do like half of the bridal party right now. I'm like mentally like freaking out. I'm just standing there. I have my chair, I have my stuff, I have my ring light. Like, I'm just standing in the lobby just kind of waiting for her to be ready to take me up to where we're supposed to go. So she takes me up to, I want to say maybe her parents or her grandparents' room. We were supposed to be doing her makeup in a suite, and she made that clear to me, but apparently it still wasn't ready. So she's like, well, why don't you just kind of like half set up in the bathroom, very small bathroom with very yellow lighting, and start. And the grandma comes in, and she's like, or maybe it's the mom, maybe it's her mom, and she's like, are you gonna start her hair first? Talking to the bride. I don't do bridal hair, so I don't know if there was a miscommunication between the bride and the other makeup artist that I was going to be doing hair, but I made it very clear that I do not do hair. And she's like, oh my god, well, I thought that you did hair, like, what is she doing for hair then? And I'm like, girl, like, I don't know. If you don't know, you think that I know? So I'm like, no, I can't do your hair, but, you know, if you're not ready to go, or if you have a sister that's ready to get their makeup done, like, we can start. The mom tells me that she wants to quick get in the shower and wash her body off, and I'm like, literally, like, oh my god, like, what are we doing? Like, we don't have time to do these things. Like, she's like, it'll only be a couple minutes. So after I had already half unpacked my stuff because I know that I'm going to have to repack everything and move to a different room, she tells me that I have to get out of the room. Mind you, that there is a man, like, she's like, oh, you could just wait in, like, the room. There is a man, a grown man, in just his underwear laying in the bed sleeping. I'm like, yeah, I'm not standing in here. I go outside, I go out into the hall, and I'm calling my mom, and I'm like, oh my God, Mom, like, I don't know what's going on. Like, she's like, it's just for the money, like, you're fine. And she talks me down because I'm, like, mentally, like, kind of freaking out. And then finally the mom gets out, and I end up doing the mom's makeup, and it, you know, it looks good. My issue with is that a lot of older women just always tend up to, they always say, like, make me look younger. I'm not a plastic surgeon. That doesn't exist, but whatever, I know what you mean. The mom gets done. Finally, we're like, she's like, okay, we're gonna go into, like, the actual suite now. And I'm like, all right, thank God. Like, we're finally moving this day along. So, and I end up doing the bride first. Goes back into the fact that she wants very dramatic makeup. So I'm doing it, and, like, I'm not used to doing really dramatic bridal makeup like that. It was a little uncomfortable for me to do it like that. But obviously, like, I'm not gonna say anything. I ended up doing the sister's makeup in that instant, too. The sister's makeup probably took me an hour again. Like, they wanted these dramatic looks, and they're like, they literally told me you need to work faster, and I'm like, do you want it to look good? Yes or no? Or stop asking me for these very dramatic looks, because we don't have time to do this right now. So I'm getting through the bridal party. It's a really long day. I'm texting the other makeup artist, asking her when she's coming. Like, again, I was still under the impression that she would be meeting me there. I don't hear from her. Finally, the hairstylist shows up. She was very, very good too, but she was having some issues with the bridal party as well. The day is rolling along, and, you know, immediately, like, I get the impression that these people have money. Like, you're in this huge venue, you rented out the hotel, almost all of your family is here, like, you have money, girl. It's alright. So obviously, like, I think the fiance was Egyptian, and I don't know the ethnicity of the bride, but you know, they're very cultural and very serious about their culture and how the bride is supposed to be on the wedding day. They're supposed to be in a scarf all the time until at least after, like, I think that for her engagement she was supposed to always wear the scarf until they got married, and then they could make the decision from there whether or not she had to keep wearing the scarf. When I had met her in the lobby, she did not have a scarf on. Now, this did not faze me at all, because not everyone in that culture, you know, has to wear it. It's strictly based off of what the family and what the husband and the parents think. So I don't think anything of it. And again, she's not wearing the scarf for the rest of the day, but some of her other sisters are wearing scarves. So also, I'm just referring to them as scarves because I feel like I don't know the correct terminology to say it, and I just don't feel like offending anyone right now, so I'm just kind of saying scarf, and I'm sorry if that offends you, but we're at the end of the bridal party now. It is, the wedding was, the ceremony, I think, was supposed to start at 6. It is probably like 6 o'clock now. They're like, it's fine, like, we'll just start late. A lot of the times those types of events normally start late because of just so much going on, so they didn't seem really fazed by it. But the bride is getting her dress on, and we just talk about payment, and I tell her how much it's going to be, and she's like, that's not the price that I was promised with the other girl. And I was like, listen, that's totally fine, I get that, but, like, you pulled me out of my, like, day off. Like, this is how much it's going to be. You had to pay for my travel. You had to pay for the fact that this was a last minute thing for me. I understand that, like, this was a lot for you, but also, like, this was a lot for me. I did 10 people. 10 people. I don't even know how I managed to do it. I was sweating my ass off. My back was so wet. I could barely breathe. Thank God I brought, like, 15 pairs of lashes, because, again, I was under the impression that I wasn't even going to be doing the final bridal party, like, the whole bridal party. So she's like, all right, well, my dad's going to pay you. And that's normal that the parents pay. That's, again, not abnormal to me. So I'm like, all right, no problem. So this is where it gets good. I know this story has been kind of dragging along at this point, but this is when the shit hits the freaking ceiling. So let's go back to the fact that she is supposed to be always wearing her scarf. Someone had peeped her. I want to say someone on, like, the husband's side of the family had peeped her not wearing her scarf in the lobby in front of other men. And snitched. Someone snitched on the bride to the the fiance's dad. So he comes, so first the fiance comes to the door, pounds on the door, and the sister goes and opens the door. Where is, let's say, I can't even make up a name. Where's the bride? Okay. So he's like, where's the bride? And he's screaming. And I'm like, oh shit. And she's putting on her dress. She's getting ready. He comes in and he doesn't look at anyone else. He looks directly at her. And the mom is also in the room. So it's the sister, the mom, and the bride, and me sitting at the table, like my hands folded on the table, just waiting patiently to be paid so I can go home. The hairstylist has already left by this point. And he's like, my dad's canceling the wedding. And I'm like, bitch, what? What do you mean? Like, I'm just sitting there again, like, minding my own goddamn business, acting like I'm not, like, I know I'm not supposed to be in this intimate moment that you're having right now, and here I am. Alright, so I just jumped ahead and, like, did most of my face because I just cannot do this whole talking and doing my makeup thing. I don't know how people do this. This is so difficult. The husband comes in, and he's freaking out. He's screaming bloody murder. I'm sitting there like an awkward freaking potato, like, oh my god, why am I here right now? The mom starts crying, and he leaves. The bride continues to get ready, unfazed. She's like, whatever, like, I've had a really long day, like, that was my top priority, was wearing the scarf, and of course he was like, well, it should be blah blah blah. So he storms out, and he's like, well, I guess I'll go try to talk to my dad. So maybe 15 minutes go by. I'm still sitting there being awkward as shit. I haven't said a word. I'm just literally sitting there on my phone like, when am I gonna leave? And the husband's dad comes up, and I'm like, oh my god, like, someone kill me, please. The husband's dad comes in, and he's furious. He is an angry man, and he comes in, and he means business when he comes in. It is no joke with this man in the room. He's asking the bride why she wasn't wearing the scarf, and she just kind of, they're speaking now their native language, which, so I'm sitting there looking so awkward. He's looking at me like, what the hell are you doing here? And I'm looking at him like, I don't know what I'm doing here. So they're talking in their native language, and the mom is talking in her native language, and they seem to come to like a small agreement. In that small span of time that they talked, they seem to have figured it out. So then he says, she was wearing a crown, a very large crown with like a veil. And her crown was probably placed like right here. So she had some of her hair showing right here, but it was like pulled back. It just was like, the crown was just like here. And he's like, you need to fix your hair. And she's like, the hair girl left already. And he's like, well, then the wedding's off. Because again, like, you're showing your hair and you're not supposed to be. And she's like, well, I don't know. Now they're speaking English. And they're like, well, she's like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm not fixing it. Like, you're not going to tell me how I can and can't wear my hair for my wedding. And he leaves, and he's like, that's fine, like, it's done then, like, we're leaving. And he's like, I'll go downstairs and I'll tell everyone the wedding's off. And the mom's crying now at this point. She's looking at me, she's looking at her daughter, she's looking at the fiance's dad, and she's just crying. And I'm like, oh my god, somebody kill me, please. I don't know if, like, eventually, like, I think the mom left and went and talked and then came back and said that everything was okay and that the wedding was still gonna go on. So at this point, like, I asked the bride, I'm like, hey, like, you know, who's paying me so I can go talk to them and we can go home, so I can go home, please. Because now I've been here for like an extra half hour. I've just watched all the drama unfold that I shouldn't have been here for, because this is very intimate conversations. And she's like, well, can you do me a favor and can you go downstairs and can you do like some touch-ups on my fiance's face? And I'm like, sure. So I go downstairs and I go I go to where the groomsmen are getting ready at. This is so uncomfortable for me. I'm like, I feel like, especially culturally, like, I'm not supposed to be here right now. So I come in and like, they're all joking around. This was a much better environment, honestly, than the bridesmaids' room. They're all laughing and joking and like hanging out. And I come in and I explain that I'm supposed to be doing the makeup, and I just do a little bit of like foundation underneath of his eyes and just very lightly set it. Like, it looks so natural. Like, he just needed a little bit of like fixing up. And then I asked him, I'm like, hey, like, is your dad supposed to be paying me? And he's like, yeah, how much is it? So I tell him, and he's like, okay, doesn't even think twice about it. And he's like, let me finish getting ready if you don't mind getting out, and I'll go get him when I'm done getting ready. So I'm like, okay. So I don't even know what to do at this point, because I want to stay close enough where I can still be there if they want to pay me, but I don't want to go too far. So I just sit down in the hallway and sit there for like 20 minutes. I sit there looking like a lost child. The photographers are there at this point. They're like, "Are you okay, ma'am?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm fine. I just want to go home." Mind you, I was done at like 6 o'clock and it is now like 7:15 or something like that. Like, I've already been here an extra hour and 15 minutes. I should be on the road going home. So I'm waiting and, you know, waiting. I eventually get up out of the hallway and they're like, the fiance comes out and he tells me that his dad is gonna come into the lobby and like he'll pay me. So I'm sitting in the lobby now and another 15 minutes go by and like now all the attendees of the wedding are like there and I just look like a big frigging asshole sitting in the lobby like just like, "Hello, like, yep, I'm here, like I'm not a part of anything, like don't mind me." And I want to say another like 20 minutes go by and I'm just sitting like, "Oh my God." So now I start asking like the other groomsmen that I recognize. I'm like, "Can someone go get a dad? Go get this dad, or like should I go get him?" And they're like, "No, like they're doing like this separate ceremony, like a private ceremony." And like obviously I'm like, "Oh well, of course I can't go in," but I'm like, someone needs to go get someone so I can be paid. And they're like, "Well, will you accept a check?" And I'm like, "No, I don't accept checks for multiple reasons. I don't accept checks, especially from people that I don't know. I'm like, this wasn't even supposed to be my wedding. Like, no, I'm absolutely not accepting a check. You will be paying me in full right now through PayPal, through Venmo, whatever." So he's like, "All right, let me go get him." Oh, 15 minutes go by, the guy comes out and he's like, "Actually, he's out front if you just want to go, like, grab him." And I'm like, "Okay, like, I am so uncomfortable with this." He's like, "I'll come with you if you want." And I'm like, "No, it's fine." So I go outside and there's the dad. Of course, I recognize him because he had freaked out in the bride's room. So, and I'm like, "Hi, like, I'm the makeup artist. Like, I was told that you'll be paying me today." And he just kind of like looks at me and he just is like, "How much?" And I'm like, I tell him how much it was. I feel uncomfortable saying how much it was because it was a lot of money. It was a really long day for me though. I felt like I was deserving of it. He whips out this fat stack of hundreds. So much money. I've never seen so much money in someone's pocket. I don't even know how it fit in his pocket. He pulls out all this money and he just starts counting out 100 bills for me and then just hands it over to me and he's like, "All right, thanks." Literally, that's all. I don't even think he said thank you. Like, he just was like, "All right, bye," and like just walked away. And like I was just like shocked. Not only did he pay me in cash because I really wasn't expecting that, but he just paid me in all 100 bills and I'm like, okay. I probably left, I want to say, maybe by like 7:45 that night. Like, finally I left. That was the longest bridal party that I've ever worked, as long with it also being the most stressful because I'm leaving out so many details about what how the bridal party was, the sisters, and like everyone was so nice. Like, please don't get me wrong, like there was absolutely nothing wrong with any of those people. They were all very sweet. Again, like there was just so many issues that went wrong in the day and like I don't blame everyone for being stressed out, but it ended up making me really stressed out and it just was not a good time for really anyone, I feel like. So I just went ahead and finished all of my makeup off camera because apparently I can't handle the responsibility of doing a get ready with me and also a story time video at the same time. They gotta be separate for future, now I know. So if you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. I will have all my social media links in the bio below. And yeah, I hope to see you in my next video.